We're at Grandfather Mountain. We just went up, and there it is. We went on the bridge right over there. It's a beautiful area. So if you're in this West North Carolina area, in the Linville area, definitely check it out. Now we're going to go car camping, truck camping, and we have the Kodiak Truck Tent, and so we're going to go into Pisgah National Forest and try to find somewhere to camp. And I just had something bite me, so not exactly 100% sure where we're going to go. Someone said the east or the west ridge of the Linville Gorge, so I think that's where we're going to wind up. So we gotta kind of get moving. It's already 16:51, so sun's going to be down here shortly. So we're hitting North Carolina, or old North Carolina 105, and there's supposed to be some car camping sites throughout here. The Pisgah National Forest is unlike other national forests in that you can't just pull over and camp anywhere. So Limbo Falls is right here, and we'll check it out tomorrow. There's an information cabin ahead. So we're gonna see, I talked to a ranger yesterday, and they said that there's several sites. Information cabin entrance. Let's see what it tells us. They said it was on old 105. I just don't know how far down. I'm not showing anything here that's showing a campground. So we'll take a look and we'll see what we find. So I found one site. It's not too far in. I could back into here. Someone trashed it. I mean, I don't mind packing out the trash. And I talked to some guys that were coming back. You know, that trash. It's horrible that people do that, but there was a car coming back this way, heading back out, and I asked them if they saw anything. They said they drove 2 miles up, and they said they didn't see anything. So here comes another car. Maybe I can ask them. Yep, they're in a hurry. So I did stop another vehicle that was right behind that one, and they said that 4 or 5 miles up there are several nice campsites. In fact, there's another one right there. So we're gonna drive in and see. I've had to hit full drive. You could get, I could probably got through this little area without full drive, but just to make it easier. The road's pretty washed out. Yeah, it's pretty bumpy. We found a spot. This is the spot. I wanted to drive in more really and see if there's a really perfect spot, but this is not bad. It's got a lot of room in it. You went in the gorge, and you probably won't be able to see, but the gorge is right through there. It drops way down about 500-600 feet. It's pretty deep. So it's 1800 right now, so light's fading on us. So we're gonna get this set up. So I've got it up. Took me about 30 minutes, and that's I've only practiced it one time yesterday. I got this in the mail yesterday. I practiced it once yesterday, and to get it really, now that 30 minutes includes unfurling 2 of the Thermarest ridge rest sole closed cell foam mattress pads, and they're the 25 inches wide by 76 or 78, no 78 inches long, I believe. They're the really big ones, and they'll fit perfectly in my bed side by side. And then there's a Kelty Shindig blanket. So this is the Kelty Shindig blanket right here, and it's just a blanket that, if you look right here, folds in, and there's another blanket that toggles in on both sides, and you can just get under it if it's not that cold. And then the 2 Thermarest ridge rest soles fit side by side right there. And here's a look inside.
Hello.
Got the poles and my daughter. And on setup, it's extremely important that you don't just go out and try to set this up. Make sure that you've actually practiced it, because it does make a big difference in kind of knowing what you're doing. I mean, I had a plan. I rolled mine up inside out, so that when I just basically when I hit down on the ground, I folded this in, and then rolled it on itself, and that way I could just unravel it and then flip it out on both sides. Now in my truck, I actually have these little step rails right here that run all the way back, and they help, but honestly you need one of these little ladders right here. One of these little this is a Costco folding step ladder. So
I'm standing in it.
Symmetry is key.
Hello.
You have to make sure that what you do to one side you do to the other, and kind of look at, so right here, I have about a full palm right there, and if you look from here to here, that's where the crease is. It's about 2 fingers. The other side is not quite the same. You want to try to get them that way. This one here is not even a finger, so I'm about 2 fingers further down this side, but I don't know, for some reason that's just kind of how it laid this time. Also, if you look up here, there's a center line point right up here, so you want that to be center with your truck. I run these on the back, but in the instructions it has it run here, but I found that the first time I set it up it was easier to run this, because I mean, this is a 6.5 foot bed and it still has some more room, so I ran these back right here. And then I found that instead of just pulling on this, if you pull this tight and with the other hand pull up on this, because down here is where it's clipped in, to slide this up and then pull this tight, that's what will get you the best results there, not just pulling on this. If you pull on this, sometimes it binds up down here at this point, and so it's not as easy to get the slack pulled out. You have to go around it 3 or 4 times. So it's canvas, it will stretch a little bit, it's going to kind of conform to the truck, and so it should become more and more easier, I would think, to set up. So that was the first order of business. I wanted to get that done before daylight went away. And I did bring in some wood. You can't chop anything down, but you can collect wood. But I didn't know if there'd be any wood to collect, because this is a very popular spot, this area that I'm in, and it's going to be, all the loose wood's probably going to be gone, so I really want to go looking for it. I just need a small fire anyway, nothing fancy. And then I brought the Nemo Bug Out Elite, and basically this is a tarp with a built-in bug net that just drapes down the sides. And I got this so if I found a spot that, and I really don't know, maybe, I mean, it's a long stretch between there, I could set up and then put the table in there, so it's kind of a screened-in area, so that bugs wouldn't be bothering us while we were trying to eat or just relax. I brought the rinse kit. I'll go over that later. I brought a 5-gallon water jug, the Stanley Adventure. This is the Adventure cooler, and it's the first time using it. And I also brought a Stanley French press for coffee, and some other Stanley products. Stanley stepped their game back up, and they were really good products, 10 10 years ago, and then they kind of mass produced and kind of went down in quality a little bit, but now they've kind of gone back up. And then I also have this with a Stanley cook kit, and then I have a backup solo canister stove, some water filtration, and some extension cords. I have a heater. I have the Biolite camp stove 2. I have a light lantern, Coleman lantern that takes the big propane. Now I'm going to get a fire started, and I did bring some fat wood with me. Right here, and I'm going to feather this down and see if I can get it fire started here. And this is the Tops Brothers of Bushcraft Fieldcraft knife, and it's the 154 CM version. And I do have the other version as well, the 1095, and this has the G10 scales. The other one has the micarta scales. I do prefer the micarta scales over the G10, really, just because the micarta scales are a little bit thicker versus the G10 scales. And this wood is pretty slick, so it's kind of hard to feather it with this versus a regular, kind of a regular piece of wood that you'd be feathering down. So we got her started. Now I just got to slowly feed it a little bit. I can put some more of that fat wood on if I have to, but I think that should be good to get it started. That easy. So I've got camp somewhat set up. We have the fire going right here, and I have the Kelty love seat out here, and then I have this little stool here that turns. I have the Biolite 2 camp stove getting ready to go. And then I brought the grill for that. I could just use the fire, but I don't have a grate. I didn't bring my grate. I have one to use on the fire, but got the rinse kit for dishes. I got the Coleman lantern that I'll hook up here in a little bit. I also brought a Coleman heater that's powered by gas as well. And then this Adventure cooler by Stanley. And then here we've got some bananas, we got some blueberries, we got some eggs, we got some cheese, hot dogs are down there, Coke, we got ketchup and mustard.
Toppings.
Yep.
For the hot dogs?
Yep. And then I have the Stanley Base Camp cook set.
Where do I put this?
Just set it right here, or put it in the fire. And then we have the frying pan system here that I just picked up, and that's everything it comes with. The cover, cutting board, spatula, extending handle, 2 sporks, 2 6-inch plates, 1 heat resistant trivet, and the 3-ply frying pan. And then this base camp cook system. This is what it all comes with, which is 1 diameter 3-ply frying pan, the spatula extending handle, so I have 2 frying pans, 1 serving spoon, extended handle, 2 650 milliliter bowls, 4 6-inch diameter plates, 1 cutting board, 4 sporks, 1 heat resistant trivet, I don't know if I'm saying that right, 1 dish drying rack, and 1 3-quart pot with ventilated lid. So one of the things that is nice about truck camping is you can bring literally the kitchen sink, and speaking of that, I brought the rinse kit right here. Which stays pressurized for up to 30 days. And I have all the attachments here. If I wanted to fill it outside, so you fill it from a faucet, but if you want to fill it from outside, you need this attachment here and then a bicycle pump. But I did not bring the bicycle pump, so I won't be able to fill it again. But it holds 2.5 gallons, or about 2 gallons. And basically, you turn this right here to the on position. It pressurizes it, and you have water pressure. So that's what we're going to use to do the dishes. So my Biolite stove, from the last time I used it, got kind of wet because I was in a storm, and I'm hoping that, so it had no charge, so I'm hoping that the charge went out because it's not working, and so it may be dead on me. I mean, it just got slightly wet. It wasn't, you know, soaked by any means. I have a little fire going in there, but I'm hoping that maybe it's dead, and I can try to charge it. I think there's a charging port at the bottom I can try to plug in and see if it'll charge, but hopefully it's not shot. So we're going to see if we can get this fixed and get dinner cooked and get kind of settled in. And we may walk over to see if there's a trail or some way we could see the gorge, because it right over there, about probably 500 meters, it just drops straight down. So we finally got, I had to use this to, well, not my iPhone cable, but to charge it, and so now it's running. So it's charging the battery, and we're gonna get the skillet out, and we're gonna get some hot dogs going. So here is this Stanley pot. Comes with a lid, a little cutting board, some Stanley literature. It comes with a spork, 2 sporks, and then a spatula that you snap into place like that right there. And then it has this trivet, it's a hot plate holder, and then you have these 2 little plates right here. And then of course you have the main frying pan. It's a very sturdy frying pan. I mean, it's got a really thick, I mean probably that thick base on it. It's heavy, it's got some weight to it. I don't know what it weighs right now, but yeah, I mean, I think it's built really well, and it's going to work really good. So this is the Biolite 2, or the Biolite Camp Stove 2.
Where do I put this?
And just put it over there on the table, on the white table. And so you can see here, it's charging really good, and now the battery's actually got some charge to it, and we're only on the fan 2 setting.
This over by the fire station.
So I brought bacon. I'm not going to make the mistake of cooking bacon on the top again. I've done that once. And I'm probably going to, I'll probably cook the hot dogs right on that. I mean, I don't see an issue with that. So we're going to get this all set up here. So I got hot dogs in a resealable package. I don't think that we're going to have to worry about bears too bad. Just kind of because we're right on the edge of the gorge. Decent elevation. I mean, I'm sure they come up here. I'm not saying they don't, but just that's why I wanted to make sure that I brought that rinse kit, or this rinse kit, so that I could wash everything. So this Biolite 2 stove here, see we got the flame down there, and you can feed it from here if you need to feed it. You can And you close this, it shoots the flame back up through here, and then you can control the fan, and that's how you control the flame. So if we kick it up a little bit, it'll start, you can hear it sizzling. So we're going to put it back down to the lowest setting. But we're almost done. And it's actually a really nice night. You know, I would like kind of a spot that had maybe a view, kind of some openness so we could see out. But we got the campfire.
A little help here.
We got the love seat. Oh, I got my daughter. Hit this bottom one you have to undo. I think tomorrow I'm going to explore back down this road and see another campsite. We're only doing one night, but we're definitely going to come back and do this more often.
Yeah. And we're going to have s'mores.
And we're going to have s'mores. With this canvas tent, because it'll take a snow load, according to Kodiak, I want to start doing winter camping in this a little bit. You know, and so, well, that's, yeah. And that's the whole reason. So I do, obviously, backcountry camping and hiking in and camping. But I wanted to start bringing my daughter out. My youngest daughter, my oldest, has no interest. But and so that's why I got this truck tent.
What's this, like?
So we've got dinner done. That, and we'll have some chips with it. So, and some soda. And then also, one thing I didn't show you was the coffee press, Stanley coffee press. I've used it a few times now, and actually it works really well. And it's right here. It's the Stanley coffee press. And in addition to being a press, it actually works really good. Some presses don't. I have a lot of presses. It also is insulated, so it keeps your coffee warm for hours. The only bad thing about it is it doesn't latch down, it doesn't seal. So this is it right here, and it works.
What's inside of it?
See?
Yeah, there's only one coffee.
Yeah, and so you put the coffee down in here. You let it. You just put this on like this. You let it steep, and then you slowly plunge it down. And it's got a little arrow right here that when you line the arrow up, it opens up the hole. But it doesn't seal, so I mean, even if it's closed, I mean, if you do this, it's gonna seep out. So, but it's a really good press, although pricey. I mean, $65, and that was a discounted price. So, but it's worth it. I mean, it's really good quality, and I've used it for 5 or 6 days at work. I just make coffee in the morning when I go into work, and then it sits in there all day, and then throughout the day I refill, and it's still warm. So it's like having your own little coffee pot.
This is amazing.
Yes, this is amazing. So we're gonna eat really quick, and then figure out
what we're gonna do.
What we're gonna do. So you can't car camp or truck camp or overland or whatever term you want to use without Jiffy Pop. I already took that. And you can use a regular camp stove. You just put it on there, and then we'll have to kind of watch it and move it around. Well, our popcorn got burnt, so my fire went out, and I put some more of the pellets in it, but then it came back to life, but then it burned it. Oh well, we tried.
Okay, we can do it.
So we've got done eating and everything. It's gotten dark on us, and so I've come out to the edge of the road, and we're gonna just do some dishes real quick. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take a little soap. And let's have some of these camp suds.
What are camp suds?
It's soap.
Oh,
just put a little bit on there. That was a little too much, actually.
That's fine.
And I'm just gonna rub it in there. Some water pressure on here.
Don't hit the lantern. I'm protecting the lantern.
And we'll just rinse this off. And that's it. We just did the dishes. Good morning. It's 8:06. I've been up off and on. It's raining a little bit. You can see the drops up there. But it really didn't rain much.
There's another car coming.
Yeah, there were cars flying up through here at all hours of the night, waking us up.
The rain was waking me up.
Yep.
You pulled half of the blanket off of here.
Just I'm gonna get up and get some breakfast going. So we're gonna boil some water and use the Biolite Stove 2 kettle. So the tent did really good. I mean, I really like its first use. Feeds water right off. Got a taut pitch on it. Plenty of room. And I'd actually thought about, I was going to get a box, a truck box, one that set in the bed, not over the top of the rails. But so I could put everything in that box. I'm kind of glad I didn't, because it would have taken up too much room. And we would have been, our feet would have been all the way down, right down here. I do have some other tough boxes I'm going to have to go through and manage and kind of repack things. The way I have it now, it's not bad, but I have the tough box here with all the cooking stuff in it, and then everything else I had in some type of bag. And then here in this portion, because I have a mega cab, I had plenty of room, but I think I'm just going to get some bigger tough boxes, and that way I can just put everything in the bed. My only concern was if we're traveling and we're going to visiting different places, like today we're going to go to Limbo Falls and then the Linville Caverns. My concern was someone might try to steal, what's in the back of the truck. So I may get a soft tonneau cover. That one that just velcros on to the sides. I should still be able to use the truck tent on that, but that way I can put all my stuff in the back and then it's covered at least. So got the water trying to boil. Biolite stove going. Get some coffee, some eggs, some bacon, some blueberries, and then we'll get breakfast eaten and packed up, and then we'll head to the falls. That's what's closest to us, and then after that we'll go to the caverns. So we got a boil going. Let's turn this down. And you see that's going really nice. We'll bring this over here. Got some caribou coffee. It's mahogany. And pour our water in there. We'll set the lid right on, let that steep. We'll have some coffee here shortly, and now we're going to get started on the eggs. and bacon. And the nice thing about this camp stove here is I can just set it right there. And we're cooking. So it just has this little bungee system here that goes over it. Got your lid. Another frying pan. And really this is all I needed to bring. I just brought the other one because I had both of them and I hadn't used them. Hot, your literature, another cutting board, some more plates, that's what I was after, some bowls, actually I may use these bowls instead, another spatula, some sporks, another trivet, and actually we are cooking over here. And the eggs are done. Woo. They were almost done for good. So here's what we got going on. We got some bacon, some eggs, and I'm cooking some more bacon here. So you would think that I'm doing a Stanley commercial. I'm not. This is actually not a Stanley thermos. This one is. This is a neat little deal here. You hit the trigger, and that's how you drink. And so otherwise it won't spill anything. I've got coffee in here from yesterday, which is probably cold. Yeah.
Not too good.
I'm just going to press the coffee. And pour. So I'm going to finish this bacon up. Eat these eggs. And we're going to get camp cleaned up. We're going to head over to Limbo Falls. So I've let this pot soak a little bit. I'm going to take the big one here, or the pan. I'm going to take the big pot here, and I'm going to put soapy water in it. And try to do, I don't have a pot scrubber. I have one at the house, I just didn't bring it. I kind of packed last minute for this. You should always have a checklist, a written checklist, but I kind of just did this out of my head. And I got 99%, just a few small odds and ends that, you know, I didn't think about, like a pot scrubber and a couple other things. But I'm going to use that to do dishes, and then get camp packed up. That should be good. And these little 5-gallon water jugs, we use them in the military. You can get them on eBay or probably Amazon. But they're really nice to have, just to carry excess water in. I don't know how much they run. I just kind of wound up with that one. Got that and a microfiber towel. You should always carry a microfiber towel. This is kind of a big one. This is the McNet. I'm sorry, this is not the McNet. This is the Micronet. Made by McNet. Okay, there you go. It's the Micronet made by McNet. So they're invaluable in terms of a campsite, even if you're backpacking. I mean, you can carry a small one. And like I said, this is the mist mode, and that's all you really need. You know, to rinse, to do dishes. And so this is by no means really clean on the inside there, but it's clean enough for what I'm doing. So what we have to do is I have to roll up the sleeping bags, the mats, get all the miscellaneous stuff packed up, clothing bag, get the tent tore down, and then we'll be on the road. So I just got camp cleaned up. I like everything to be pretty organized. So I have the rinse kit, the cooler, and then the 5-gallon water jug, and I've got it ratcheted strapped down. And I mean, it would take, on the way up here, I had to hit my brakes pretty hard, and it held just fine. And this is a really heavy duty ratchet strap. I've got the excess daisy chained, and then in the back I've got this ratcheted down, but I mean it can move around if it really wants to, but it's not going to really go anywhere. And these tie down points right here on this Dodge, even with this small ratchet strap, I mean it's not that tight, but putting any pressure on it is bowing this out, so I have to be careful with that. And in the back here, got the tough box full of cooking and fire prep in here. This is all sleeping bags, sleeping mats, and here's the tent. The tent poles are down here, and then in the front I have just my EDC bag that I carry, a clothes bag, and then miscellaneous bag, first aid kit. All my camera equipment is in here, a thermos, and yeah, I mean that's pretty much the setup. And then of course my daughter on the other side, and I try to keep, you know, a clear spot for her. If we get into an accident or I have to slam on the brakes or anything, I don't want stuff going flying. And I mean, this right here, I mean, it's in there pretty tight. I mean, if we were hit or rolled, that's a concern I have, and that's why I don't want to carry anything in the cab from now on. So next time we go out, I'm going to be doing 2 large tough boxes in the bed versus putting this back here. The soft stuff is not as big of a deal. These poles are a big deal. That's a big deal. And this is just the tent body, and this is just the sleeping bags and all that stuff. So because for her safety, I just want all the hard stuff in the back. So that's what I'm going to do. Next trip out, underneath I have some contractor bags. I have a little emergency beacon under there, some bungee cord, and just and then in the back section here there's a storage compartment, and that's where I have axes, tools, just random items that you would need, saws, gloves, toe straps, just all kinds of just miscellaneous stuff that, you know, you never know if you're going to need or not. So we're ready to go. I cleaned up the camp. There was a lot more trash when we got here, and I cleaned it up. There's a couple odd end things. I burnt some of the trash that I found, and that's just all kind of ashes right there. And so I always like to leave it better than I found it, and I found it in a lot worse shape than it is now. I mean, I didn't do a complete what we call the military police call, which means I didn't pick up every cigarette butt and every little nook and cranny piece of trash, but the big items I got out of here, I either burnt or I'm packing out as trash. So, and you should always do that. That's just good practice. Anytime you leave a campsite, you should always leave it in a better condition than when you found it. So we're going to get on the trail. Well, not on the trail. We're going to get on the road, which the road is just right there, by the way. I think what we're going to do is we're going to head, before we go to Linville Falls, we're going to head down, and there's a overlook up here somewhere where we can see the entire Linville Gorge, and then I'll show you guys what it looks like, because I honestly have never seen it either. I've been all around it, but I've never actually got a good view of the gorge. I know that trails going in there. As soon as you drop down into the gorge, it's like opens up and you can see. But and I want to start coming up here in this area and doing some more hiking and backpacking as well. It is about between an hour and a half and 2 hours, depending. It took us to get to Grandfather Mountain. It took us about 2 hours, but that's because the GPS, for some reason, I used Google Maps on my phone, and it told me some shortcut, and then it wound up being some gated community. And anyway, so like we got a couple minutes, about 15 minutes behind or so, 20 minutes behind. So yeah, if I find that view, you'll see that next. So we're Wiseman's View. This is the parking area right here, and it's Thursday morning. There's no one out here. I don't know how far the trail is, but it's got handicap accessible spots, so I imagine that it's not too far. So we're coming up on the view here, and the gorge. Wow. You hear there's a river down there.
Oh, I heard a river. Can you really?
Oh wow, this is beautiful. This camera, there's no way this camera's going to do this justice. Come on. Look at this.
Guys, it's really far down.
Yeah.
There's a mountain over there.
Yeah, there's no way the camera can do this justice. This is just pure beauty.
Look, there's two mountains that are close together.
And this goes pretty much straight down.
Daddy, right over here is the river.
Yeah, I see the river.
Daddy, come with me.
And this is the second lookout point.
Yes, it's muddy.
It is a little muddy. Here, you go to that side over there.
Okay.
And the non-mud over there. Can you see over?
I can't even see over.
Limbo Falls now, and it's a short little trail, and it's on the same road that we were camped on, and it says 0.4 miles. And it's right off the old North Carolina 105, which is also a Forest Service road. Yeah. Be careful. Oh, look at here. Yeah. So the Linville Gorge, Linville River, and the falls are named after a guy by the last name of Linville. And it was a hunting party that was killed by Indians. And so that's how it got its name. But the Linville Falls, definitely worth the trip. Nice camping areas as well. So I would definitely, if you're in this area, definitely check it out. Next we're going to go right up there to that lookout point, so we can look down on the rest of this. This is kind of the beginning of the gorge. We're going to go to this one, and then we'll go to that other one. Be careful. You hear me?
Why?
Because it's a straight drop off right down there.
I'm going to sit.
Okay. So right there is where we were, and then it comes around and snakes and drops off right down there. And apparently you can get down there, but we're not going to go down there. Caverns now.
Huh?
And we're getting ready to go in and buy tickets. Parking's kind of cramped, so we were told it was worth it though.
Turn off.
It's fine.
Is it turned off right now?
No, it's recording.
No, is the lights turned off?
No, they're on.
It's the fish.
Yeah, see the little fish?
Big truck.
You'll just stop right here.
When are they going to do this?
Watch your step.
Made it home. Now it's time to start the recovery process, and I may do a video on that because recovery is extremely important. So hope you enjoyed the video, and thank you for watching. If you enjoy the content, I'm going to try to push more out as I have the availability, and the more subscribers I get, the better it helps my channel in terms of me being able to get some monetization feedback from YouTube, and that way I can buy more gear and produce more videos. But anyway, I hope you liked it, and thanks for watching.